If you have clicked on this, you are probably going through it. So thank you for picking up the emergency care card. I'm gonna share my top breakup tips to hopefully help get you through this initial stage of a breakup. My first tip is to text them, but in your notes app. I know what you're thinking. I used to hear this floating around and I always was like, there's no way that would work. And then I did it during a breakup and it honestly was a game changer. I literally labeled a notes app texts I want to send to, and I would just write them. And it would be as simple as like, oh, I just saw this thing and thought of you, to like paragraphs professing my love, to paragraphs getting really angry. And I also remember telling myself in the writing of them out that I could send them if I wanted to, or I could even share them one day with the person, just so I felt like productive in an activity that at times feels like silly, because it's genuinely not silly. And I really, really, really recommend giving this one a go. It helps so much. It also helps just like purge things you're feeling or thinking, or like when you see that thing and you want to text them and be like, oh, I just thought of you when I saw this thing. Because I did this once, and looking back on all of them, I'm so glad I didn't send so many of them, but I'm also really glad I got them out on paper. Tip number 2, you don't need to share friends right now. This tip I feel like is important for me to share, because I feel like a lot of the times we feel this pressure to sort of keep up appearances, especially when, you know, a lot of people that are involved in friend groups and all of those kind of mixed connections haven't done anything wrong. They're lovely people, everything's fine, but you're struggling to maintain certain relationships because maybe you're finding out information you don't want to, or those people remind you of being with that person because that's how you made those connections and those friends. Or maybe it's just a proximity thing that triggers your nervous system. I want to give you permission to take some space if you need it. It doesn't make you a bad person. If you feel the need to voice it in a really calm, beautiful way to those people, to let them know it's got nothing to do with them and their personhood and their personalities, you're just really needing the space to heal away completely from that life, that situation, that person. The right people will respect that and understand, and I want to give you permission to do that if you need to, because it really helped me, and hopefully it helps you and it doesn't make you a bad person if that's what you need to do. Hack number 3 is ignore the healing timeline. This is one of my biggest tips that I say to people so often. I think also like so much pop culture gives you these really specific time frames to be over something or someone, where it's like half the time of the relationship, for example. And honestly, from all the breakups I've experienced and witnessed, it never ever goes that way. Sometimes you can get out of like a really long relationship and it takes you like, I don't know, a month. And then sometimes you can get out of a situationship and a year later you're still thinking about them. I think it's really more so attached to what that person maybe triggers in you or what you felt like you were getting from the situation. And so all that is to say, don't focus on timelines, just focus on healing. Whether that takes you a week or takes you 10 years, process all there is to process, and don't listen to the noise of when you should be over something. Because also, if something was really traumatic, sometimes that stuff's gonna stay with you for a really long time, and you may be over the person even, but not over what happened, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're not stuck. That's just a very normal human response to life. Hack number 4 is create breakup rituals. These are just things that are gonna sort of help ground you in a situation that feels maybe really out of control. So certain things that you do every day or once a week or once a month that feel or start to feel familiar to you. For me, something that I used to do is I had my morning coffee at almost the same time every single day in the same spot in my house. And I would journal, or on days where I didn't want to journal, I would read, and I do that for half an hour every morning. And it became so soothing to my body that I would crave it. And it was almost sort of like a life force for me. Sometimes I would really struggle with overwhelming emotions, especially towards the end of a day. And that like morning coffee ritual was something that then would get me through that. I would sort of push all my energy towards that morning coffee. It might not be that for you. It might be a movement practice. It might be once a month you and your friends decide, we meet and we gossip. Like whatever it is for you, create it, and I think it will really help get you reestablishing your own life. And my last tip, tip number 5, is stop trying to be friends right now. I know we all want to be friends with our exes immediately. And look, maybe some people can finesse it, but from my own experience and from the things that I've witnessed, I think even if the breakup was amicable, a little bit of space and time to process and heal and establish your own life and your own boundaries and your own friends is really important. And it's a really important stage to kind of move through before you think about reconnecting with that person and establishing a new sort of relationship with them. I think we need to process the one that was, which in this case romantic, before thinking about a platonic one immediately. Give yourself a little bit of time. It's not saying that you can never be friends with your ex. I'm just saying in the initial stages of a breakup, let's not try to be friends. Let's focus on ourselves and our own healing and our own life before we even think about having a platonic relationship with this person.